The address is almost as interesting as the content.
So I usually find.
Senor A. Garcia, Wisteria Lodge. But look at the writing.
What's strange about it?
Yeah, well, in itself, Doctor, nothing. But if you compare it to the rest, you'll see it was either done with a different pen or by a different person. Oh, forgive me. Mr. Holmes.
Thank you. Yes, not a different pen. Definitely two separate hands. Yes, the message was
Written by a woman, I fancy. The paper's ordinary cream laid without watermark. A quarter sheet that's been cut off with scissors. It's been folded 3 times and sealed with purple wax, put on hurriedly.
I compliment you on your attention to detail.
You're too kind.
There are perhaps a few trifling points that could be added.
Oh, yes?
Yes, the wax was sealed with a plain oval cuff-link. What else is that shape? And the scissors were short-bladed nail scissors. You can see the distinctive curves in the cuff.
I thought I'd squeezed all the juice out of it, but I see there was a little over.
Yes, all this is very fascinating, but what does it say?
Watson, if you'd be so kind.
Thank you. Our own colours, green and white, G open, W shut. Main...
ST?
Main ST, first core, 7R, green bays. Godspeed D.
Good heavens. What could it possibly mean?
Inspector?
I'm bound to say that I make nothing of it.
Indeed.
Beyond the obvious. Something was afoot, and a woman, as usual, was at the bottom of it.
Yes, well, that much is certainly obvious.
What else did your meticulous search of the house turn up, Inspector?
Oh, odds and ends, Doctor. Some pipes, a few novels, 2 of them in Spanish, an old-fashioned pin-fire revolver, and a guitar.
Curious collection.
Nothing else.
Nothing of relevance.
Interesting.
Inspector Baines.
Mr. Scott Eccles.
I beg to point out that I haven't yet heard what exactly happened to Senor Garcia. Nor, if it comes to that, what happened to his household.
Admirable, Mr. Scott Eccles. You return us to the heart of the matter, Baines.
The 2 servants have disappeared, haven't been seen anywhere in the area.
And Garcia?
Senor Garcia was found this morning nearly a mile from here. He'd suffered repeated blows from a sandbag or some such instrument.
Dear God.
His assailant had gone on beating him long after he was dead.
Mindless savagery.
Was he robbed?
No.
We examined the scene, of course.
Of course.
With what result?
Nothing definite, I'm afraid.
Was there any clue as to when it happened?
Not exactly, Doctor.
Pity.
But there are certain indications, certain puzzling indications.
Puzzling.
Mr. Scott Eccles, what time did you say that Garcia disturbed you in your room last night?
At 1 o'clock, Inspector. I remember it distinctly.
At 1 o'clock. By curious coincidence, that was also the time that it came on to rain. Heavy rain it was, too.
I'm afraid I failed to see the significance.
The ground under Garcia's body was bone dry. At 1 o'clock, sir, your host was lying face down on Oxshott Common with his head smashed to a pulp.
Here.
Thank you.
Our rooms will be ready in a few minutes.
Excellent. Well, there are some singular features to this case. What do you think of it?
I can make nothing of this business with Scott Eccles.
But the crime?
Well, the disappearance of the 2 servants is very suspicious. I'd say they're concerned in the murder.
Yes, possible. It's strange, isn't it? They chose to attack him on the one night when he had a guest.
The whole business is strange.
Grotesque. What's your opinion of Baines?
I was going to ask you that. He's clever.
Yes.
And ambitious, I'd say. Got his eyes on a place at the yard.
He's concealing something, possibly something at the house.
Oh, come on. I know he annoyed you, but you can't accuse him.
Nonsense.
Of course he did. Well, now you know what it's like.
Watson, what are you talking about?
You know perfectly well what I'm talking about. Since it's obvious that you prefer a different topic. What about that note? One piece of concrete evidence. Right, here we are. Our own colours.
Green and white, yes.
Does it mean anything to you?
Yes, perhaps.
Our own colours. Sounds like racing.
Then what was it? G open, W shut.
Green and white again, obviously. Some sort of signal.
Yes, a signal to what?
Main ST First Core 7R. Doesn't seem obscure enough to be a code. It's just abbreviations. But why?
Well, any number of reasons. Haste, the most likely. Fear of interruption or discovery.
Main ST, small s, small t, no punctuation. Surely can't be main saint.
Try stair.
Main stair, yes, main stair, first corridor.
Yes, excellent, Doctor. It must be the country air. And 7R.
7 rooms, 7 railings, 7... I don't know.
Well, neither do I. But an intelligent conjecture might favour 7 right.
Of course. 7 right, 7 doors to the right, and as a double check,
Green bays.
on the door panel.
Exactly. It's directions to a particular room.
It's an assignation. All this mystery, and the only thing at the bottom of it is a jealous husband. Jealous and violent.
Perhaps.
You think I'm wrong?
Well, not in your interpretation of the note.
Will you send word?
To whom?
Holmes, we've just decoded what might be a vital clue. Surely we should tell Inspector Baines.
Watson, he already knows.
Lawedo, give me your cunning.
This is excellent. Too good to waste.
I'm in no need of breakfast.
If you want your doctor's opinion...
I don't.
Well, you're going to hear it anyway. What you were in need of is sleep. Didn't you get any at all last night?
I had more important matters to attend to.
I suppose you were poisoning yourself with too much tobacco and trying to make sense of this business.
Yes, for some of the time.
And the rest?
I paid a midnight visit to Wisteria Lodge.
What on earth for?
To find whatever it was that Baines didn't want me to know about.
You mean say you broke in? Holmes, even if he was keeping something to himself, he's perfectly entitled to. He's under no obligation to tell you anything. Well, what happened?
I had 2 surprises. Firstly, Baines and his men were still at the house, or more accurately, they were still in the grounds.
But he dismissed them all last night.
Yes, made quite a performance of it, if you recall. But there they were, hiding in the shrubbery, keeping watch.
Did they see you?
Of course not.
What was the second surprise?
The objects that Baines was concealing.
So you did find something?
In the kitchen. Carefully arranged to look as though they'd never been touched.
Well, what, for God's sake?
The blood and bones of a small sheep. The half-eaten body of a white cockerel. And the mummified corpse of a human baby.
Pilar Perlano, José Alcino, Hannah Montero, Fernando Guerra. All the souls of the village of Limbey, all the souls of the village of Passerenne, all the souls of the village of Calabar.
What? We have a murder, 2 disappearances, and now this grisly horde, all in the same quiet little village, and you're saying there's no connection?
I said there's no direct connection.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Baines.
Inspector?
You didn't detain my client any longer than was necessary, I trust.
Of course not, sir, of course not. Would I do such a thing? He was away last night at a highly civilized hour and spent the night in Isha's finest hotel at police expense. Discussing the case, were you?
Yes. Have you had any further thoughts, Mr. Baines?
I've had rather more than that, Doctor. Oh, yes. Get back! Get back! That's better. Take a look, gentlemen. Charming, isn't he? This gentleman is
Garcia's cook.
Jesus. Exactly.
How did you find him, Inspector?
Oh, I have my methods, Doctor, just as Mr. Holmes has his. I suspected that he'd returned to the house.
No doubt to retrieve something of importance.
I left an ambuscade for him. He put up a fine old struggle, nearly bit off Constable Downing's thumb. But I've got him now. And the charge is murder?
And what, pray, is the motive?
Greed. The house was stripped of valuables, you saw that yourself. Garcia surprised him in the middle of the robbery and was killed for it. Simple.
His theory does make a certain amount of sense. He could be right. I believe I misjudged the man entirely. But you said he was clever. Exactly. Holmes, this theory of his leaves far too much unexplained. Such as? Why was Scott Eccles there? Pure coincidence. Explain the note. I already have. It's from Garcia's mistress, his married mistress, arranging a meeting. But why the business in the early hours of the morning? Why was the body over a mile from the house? Why has the other servant, Carlo, disappeared? If the motive was robbery, where are the spoils? Holmes, I can't be expected to reel off explanations at the drop of a hat. And most significant of all, why was the address in a different hand? I don't know. If Baines is wrong, then I can make neither head nor tail of the whole business. Oh, Baines is certainly wrong. And you have a solution. I don't have all the facts yet, but I do have an explanation which covers all the facts so far.
A conspiracy?
That's Holmes's theory. Garcia and the servants, if they were servants, were all acting together. And the woman who wrote the note is in on it too.
But who does he think they were conspiring against exactly, and why?
Someone who lives or works in the same house as the woman. As to why... well, you know as much as I do, I'm afraid. Holmes only gave me the broad strokes.
But the crime, whatever it was, went wrong.
Exactly. Garcia was killed and the others went into hiding.
If they were all planning this crime, why invite me to stay? They'd hardly want any witnesses.
Well, Holmes thinks you were there to provide an alibi.
An alibi?
To swear that Garcia was in the house at 1 o'clock. Whereas in reality, he was somewhere else entirely.
You mean he lied to me about what time it was?
Well, that's the idea.
Extraordinary. I thought the whole thing was over and done with, and now that Inspector Baines has arrested the cook.
He told you about that, did he?
This morning. Apologized for detaining me and told me I was free to go.
You were free to go at any time. Unless he actually arrested you.
Oh, no. To be fair, he treated me handsomely. The police are paying my bill at this place, you know.
He said. Isha's finest to tell. I wasn't sure if you'd still be here.
I thought I'd delay my departure until after lunch. Be a shame to miss this excellent party, wouldn't it?
It certainly would. Tell me something. Did Garcia strike you as the criminal type?
No, certainly not. Doctor, Mr. Holmes' reputation is second to none, of course, but... well, it is hard to believe.
Here you are, Will.
Oh, thanks, Martha. He's a good man, your Elias.
Now, pay him when you get a new place.
Oh, be a long wait.
Oh, good health.
And to you.
Lost your job, have you?
Who wants to know?
Someone as is looking for one himself. Eddie Irvin.
Will Warner. You're not local.
Oh, been travelling.
There's nothing going round here.
There's something.
Oh, yeah?
Your old place. Or have they filled it?
Look, take my advice. You go right on travelling.
Not a good house, was it?
Good enough if you want to be cursed at and kicked at for no reason, and dismissed out of hand just because your master's in a temper.
Wow, just because he kicks you don't mean he do the same to me.
Don't you believe it? Kick at the old world, that'n.
Oh, he must be powerful angry.
Or powerful scared.
What do you mean?
Look, leave me alone. Let me drink in peace.
Well, I reckon if you got a kicking, you must have deserved it. Deserved the sack too, I dare say.
Oh, you think so, do you? Well, you listen here.
You ask me, he sold his soul to the devil, and now he's expecting him to come up and claim it in person.
So that's where you've been all afternoon.
Yes, searching for someone like my informative drinking companion.
Where did you get those clothes?
Well, half a crown in the right place can work wonders.
Oh, they're quite disgusting.
Now, you remember the note?
Of course.
7th door to the right, so a particularly large house.
Yes.
Well, there are only 6 possible candidates in the district, and I've spoken to servants from each one. 5 of the 6 are owned by prosaic, respectable people far aloof from romance. The 6th